Consumers worried, but by the same token, they can't keep it secret.
In a statement from Thornton's, the company says it has recently learned about the risk potential in store as well and are taking extra measures on the inside pen pads by placing and verifying security seals that are easily visible if tampered with or removed. During an inspection last week, Rhodes says they found a new seal on a credit card pen pad. The question, is that enough?
I guess the folks could just really look carefully at all these things and maybe not even give their card unless it's being read behind the counter.
All right, now Rhodes says he is still trying to figure out if they have jurisdiction inside of these stores to inspect those readers. Right now, he says that's just not clear. We're live in Springdale tonight. Dan Griffin, WLWT News 5.
Dan, thank you. Dusty Rhodes also telling us today he's also hearing these devices may have been found inside other gas stations in other counties. He says he's now working to get more information with other auditors. We'll keep you updated. A man is in critical condition right now after he was hit by a driver suspected of being high on drugs. The accident shut down Glenway Avenue for hours this afternoon. Police have now arrested the driver. WLWT News 5's Emily Wood is live near the intersection where the crash happened today. Emily.
Cherie, police say the victim was hit here while working on his car in the parking lot of the Advanced Auto Parts store on Glenway Avenue. He's also an employee here. Witnesses that we spoke with say this happened around 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning when a silver car lost control, ran off the road, hitting the victim's car and sending him into the air. This is what's left of the victim's black Honda. This silver Ford Taurus slammed into it at Glenway on Ferguson. The front is smashed in and parts of the car are scattered across the Advanced Auto Parts parking lot where the victim is an employee. One witness says he saw the crash and the victim, a man in his 20s, flip into the air.
I got scared, this is my, the way that he flipped. That's so scary because, even if you hit in the head and the ground, that's really sad.
Employees at Wing Eye Care across the street also saw and heard the accident around 10:30 this morning.
I heard a loud bang and I looked up and I saw the silver car go flying through the Auto Advance parking lots into that building right across the street over there.
Police arrested the driver on scene. Investigators say he was high on heroin when he lost control. At last check, according to police, the victim is still in critical condition at UC Medical Center. So far, they have charged the driver, 36-year-old Michael Felchner, with 1 count of aggravated vehicular assault and 1 count of vehicular assault. Reporting live in West Price Hill, Emily Wood, WLWT News 5.
All right, Emily, thank you. And we also know that Michael Felchner is set to appear in court tomorrow morning. The Islamic State extremist group now claiming responsibility for that truck attack on a Berlin Christmas market that killed 12 people and left nearly 50 others injured yesterday. German police are still looking for the driver of the truck, a man who was initially arrested as a suspect but was released by police today. Matt Bradley has the very latest from Berlin.
NBC News can confirm that German police have released the initial suspect in the killing of 12 people last night at this Christmas market in central Berlin. Now, in that attack, somebody drove a truck into this crowded market at about 8 p.m. last night, plowing into dozens of people, killing 12 of them and injuring dozens more, 16 of them critically. Now, police have said that this 23-year-old Pakistani man who they just released tonight, they simply didn't have the evidence to put him in the cab of the truck that committed the crime. The forensic evidence wasn't there. The CCTV evidence wasn't there. And the witnesses, even though there were crowds of people, they weren't able to actually identify the man as having been in the truck at the time of the killing. But now, there's a perpetrator at large, somewhere either in Berlin or in Germany, trying to flee the police. So this dragnet is going to continue, and German police are going to be scouring this country and combing through all of the video cameras that are in this very busy square, looking to try to place the man, the driver, who managed to simply disappear into the crowd following this very violent attack. Back to you.
Now, that was Matt Bradley reporting for us tonight. The U.S. State Department is again warning Americans to be vigilant this holiday season, especially if you're traveling to Europe. Tonight at 5:30, we are taking a closer look for you at the precautions now being taken here at home as well. In Turkey, the Russian ambassador was assassinated yesterday, and tonight investigators say the Turkish policeman who killed him likely did not act alone. A team of Russian investigators arrived today to determine who exactly was behind the murder of Moscow's ambassador to Turkey. The assassination was carried out in an art gallery in front of television cameras here. These are still pictures. One senior Turkish security official says this looked too well planned to have been the act of a lone individual without any help. But so far, no group has claimed responsibility for this attack. Turkish police have detained 7 people in connection with the gunman, his parents, sister, 3 other relatives, and his roommate. The man accused of setting off 2 bombs in New York and New Jersey back in September was also in court today. Ahmad Khan Rahim pleading not guilty today to attempted murder charges. Authorities say the 28-year-old set off a pipe bomb in New Jersey and a pressure cooker bomb in New York. Now, no one was injured in New Jersey, but 31 people were hurt in New York. And then 2 days later, police say he tried to kill police officers in a shootout. An outpouring of support for a former teacher who was the victim of a bizarre home invasion in Marymount. Richard Sinninger is retired from Turpin High School, but alumni, teachers, and even friends now pulling together to support him as police search for leads on the attacker. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick is leading the way with this story tonight. Brian.
Yeah, Cherie, well, Richard Sinninger is recovering. He was duct taped to a chair and severely beaten in his own home. And right now, no one knows why this very popular former teacher was targeted. Richard Sinninger was attacked inside his Marymount home. And despite the brutal beating he endured, the 74-year-old former teacher remains a living legend.
No idea why anybody would treat him this way. So we're all praying for him here at church and hoping for a quick recovery.
Mark Rowland is the senior pastor at Anderson Hills United Methodist Church, where Sinninger once taught kids. He says the crime has rallied everyone who knew Sinninger, past and present.
Social media was really kind of on fire around this whole episode, and people were kind of reconnecting that way. Former students and former church members and those kinds of things were all reconnecting.
Social media lit up with Turpin alumni who raised more than $6,000 in a matter of hours, but Sinninger declined the help and the money was refunded.
Dick is beloved by his students. I mean, every year they'd come back after they graduated and want to tell him where they were.
This friend, who was also a longtime teacher with Sinninger, didn't want to be identified, but says she's the one who called 911.
Some people rang the doorbell. He went to the door and they came in and beat him up.
Meanwhile, investigators are still looking for a suspect or even a motive. Still, at this point, even after days, it doesn't look like he was robbed.
No, it doesn't, and that's our big mystery.
A mystery in Marymount, still waiting to be solved. Now, Sinninger is out of the hospital, but he's at a convalescent center. Police say he's still having trouble giving them any information that would give them solid leads. Reporting live, Brian Hamrick, WLWT News 5.